Sure. So, hello everybody. I'm Brianforth. I am the Vice President of Sales and Marketing for Futudent, which means that I'm responsible for all of our commercial activity around the world, and that includes our business and our partnerships in the academic space. So we have our technology in use in universities around the world, and they tend to be pretty complex installations, and so I'm very involved with that. Anna, would you like to introduce yourself?
I'm Anna12Sept2017. I'm a sales channel and marketing manager for Futudent. I am under Brianforth actually in this case, and actually Brian will explain more about our cooperation in Nigeria.
Oh, great.
Okay.
Great. I think maybe Anna could make it a little louder so that everybody could hear her.
Yes.
Okay, fine. Let me quickly introduce myself as well.
Okay.
I am a staff for University of Lagos, Nigeria. I work in the Faculty of Dental Sciences as an instructor. I teach undergraduate dental students, and I'm deeply involved in research and the use of digital, I'm fully involved in digital dentistry, let me put it that way. And I have some group of colleagues who are interested in knowing more about digital dentistry. We have the narrow view, from my opinion, that digital dentistry is just involve the use of computer, that is computer-aided design and computer-aided manufacture, which we generally refer to as CAD/CAM. And it occurred to me when I came across the company online that the use of camera is also very important when we talk of digital dentistry, not just CAD/CAM. I got interested, and I was interested in knowing more about how this can impact our practice and our education. I discussed with some of my friends, they were interested. So I scheduled this meeting so that we could meet, and let me see from you and from our interaction today, how your services or your company can impact our practice, and in other ways that our university can also benefit. Because I'm going to share this video widely, and I believe that so many people who are not in the dental profession will also pick interest in what we're going to be having today. So let's kick the ball rolling, and let me ask from Brian if the kind of camera you have and how the functionalities and how they can be used in dentistry, especially in a dental lab.
Sure. I'll maybe start from the beginning. So I'll take you back a bit to the reason the company was founded, how the technology was developed, and then I'm going to give you a bunch of examples of ways it's used in dental education today for the benefit of both the faculty and the student body. So our company is a little over 7 years old now. The technology was developed actually in partnership with the University of Helsinki here in Finland. There was a project done looking at trying to find the benefits of emerging video technology for dental education applications. And after a couple of years, the result was our first generation camera, but more than just the camera, because what we uncovered through the project was that video, or having a camera, is one element, the hardware, but actually having usable software and a method of sharing that content is equally important. So we developed those three things together, and from that program was born our company. So we were spun off out of that program. So we have now been commercially available globally for over 5 years. We are this is still an emerging space. The entire idea of video dentistry, or the use of video technology, both in academic pursuit and also in private practice. It's still an emerging space, but we are by far the market leader. We own well over 50% of the global market for video camera use in dental applications. And So that said, I'll give you a few examples, and after this I'll be happy to share some studies as well that were done using the camera in schools. One of the first studies that was done was here in Helsinki, where they looked at having the students film their work in the Phantom Lab. Because one of the challenges professors have often is students are working, whether it's in the lab or if it's in the, if they're working with patients in the clinic, being able to be there looking over their shoulder physically at all the right places and times is difficult. You got one professor, many students. So how do you capture their work? So what we did was we had a lab that was retrofitted with cameras. All the students recorded a preparation of a tooth. And this was a double-blind study. I'll share the academic study with you afterwards. It was done twice. The first time, half of the students had a camera, half did not. Those that had the camera filmed their work and could share it with their instructor, who then could actually view not just the end result, so not just look at the preparation done on the model, but actually view the whole video, jumping to the key moments, which we use bookmarks in our software to highlight, and look at their whole process and their technique that they use. So that's more than just looking at the end result. You're looking at the process and technique and give feedback to the students based on that. Now in the second round, some weeks later, students all came back in, did a similar preparation. This time they all had cameras. And at the end, those models were taken, they were 3D analyzed, and it was proven in a double-blind study that the students who had cameras. Oh, thank you. Someone. Oh, go back again.
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought you're still speaking. There was a break in communication.
Okay. So I'll just continue where I left off then. It's in the second round, all the students had cameras, and then the final work was analyzed with 3D analysis, and it was proven that the students that had the camera feedback and the feedback in the first round all performed significantly better than the students that had not had that. So we were able to demonstrate that using video in the feedback with the professor and the student was really able to help with accelerating their learning. And of course, it goes without saying that when professors have the camera, both in the educational clinic and also in many cases in their private clinics, they're able to capture footage that they want to share with the class and share much more conveniently and in much better quality and detail than has been possible before. So for making content for course material, it's pretty much the easiest way to do it. You don't need to have another person in the room. You don't need to have an assistant. It's always on and ready to go. So lecturers around the world, academics, are probably our largest group of users for this reason, that they're using this to make content for the educational experience. Now that said, we've got other programs going on now where students are using video to record advice for patients. So patients come in for a treatment. Student maybe is making a recommendation for a treatment plan for that patient. And one of the things that we have that's unique is a service called My Dental Book. It's a cloud-based service. It allows the dental professional to make a video, make instruction with their voice. Their hands are free with their tools, so they can use the mirror and the explorer to point out issues to the patient. And as soon as they're done, they can email that directly to the patient. So the patient gets that on their cell phone. And as we all know, patients don't generally make their decisions while they're in the chair. They want to go home and talk to their husband or wife, and very often they choose to wait. So in a lot of our markets, particularly the United States, this is being used for patient education to help them understand their treatment options and send it home with them. So it's very personal. So we're doing that with some hygiene schools around the world right now. So we're using it for patient interaction. And one other interesting case that we've done that I'll close with is in Africa, in Tanzania. We've been involved with a program because most of the dental professionals are in a capital city, affiliated with the university, a lot of them. And out in the villages, you don't have dental professionals typically. So you have folks that are going out, kind of healthcare service providers that go out mobily and visit people and see if there are issues. And then they have to kind of report back to the professionals of the Capitol. Okay. So we're involved with a program in Tanzania where
We have an issue with volume.
Yeah, it just sounds like some interference, but it seems to have
Go
gone
ahead.
away now.
Yeah.
So the professionals in the field are able to film an issue and email that video of that patient's situation to the specialists in the Capitol, who can then review it and determine whether this is something that that person should come and seek treatment for. Because very often that trip from the rural village to the Capitol, maybe that's a 2 or 3 day trip for that person. So it's not something you want to do if it's not necessary, but using video is a much more comprehensive way of capturing the whole situation in the mouth. Still pictures do one thing, but video is more dynamic, and you're able to also incorporate into that your verbal instructions, and it's very quick. So the last thing I'll mention then, so those are some good case examples, and I'll send you material on that after the call. There's a few more studies as well that I can send to you. But in general, in principle, our camera is an extremely lightweight, high-definition camera that's specialized for dentistry, designed for dental applications. So the depth of field, the field of view, the way that it handles color and lighting conditions are all designed for dentistry. It's very lightweight, so it can be worn on your loops and calibrated so it films precisely what you see while you're working. Or you can also put it on the dental light. We've got a couple of tools now that are retrofitting all of their chairs and their chair lights with cameras. So you have a fixed camera with a stable mount in every light, and you can film from that vantage as well. And it's just some last kind of small technical details. It's a full HD camera, so 1080p. You can get zooming anywhere from 2 to 10 times magnification through a combination of optical and digital, 30 frames per second, and it incorporates with it the recording software and the cloud sharing service that allows you to not only record a video, but then share it instantly by email to anybody.
Oh, fantastic. Fantastic. I think I got more than I thought you have to offer. And precisely, I think I picked two things now, both in treatment and patient education and general professional development. Futudent has a lot of opportunities for professionals. But you promised to share some details with me. I don't know if it's now or maybe you want to send an email to me. What exactly do you want to share?
We have some of these studies, published academic studies about camera technology. So I'll put together a bundle of information, some PDFs, some video content, some other things that kind of back up the things I just talked about. Okay,
fantastic. You said you had some trials or some investigation that you've carried out elsewhere in the world. Do you have anyone you've done in Africa that an example of such studies you have done in Africa that really can be localized at our end here?
There is the one in Tanzania that I mentioned.
Okay.
That we've done that. That's the one project that we've been involved with in Africa. Our CEO was just in Tanzania. I think it was about 8 or 9 months ago now, doing a follow-up on it. So I could get some more information on that project as well. Maybe some of the contact details of the people involved.
Okay, maybe if Anna can tell us a little about, you describe it now, maybe I didn't get it well. You said some camera can be fixed on the forehead or something that will give precise details of whatever an operator, maybe of a machine or someone carrying out a treatment, full details of what is going on. Maybe Anna can expatiate on that and tell us the importance of that to treatment and to education also, I mean, the clinician or the dental technologist can share with his student or patient later on. Can you expatiate on camera that you can fix on the forehead somewhere that will give full details of what one is doing whenever one is carrying out a procedure?
Well, basically, our camera is so small. It's 8 grams, 6 to 8 grams, and you actually can put it in your loops, whatever your loops that you have. We just attach it over there in your loops, or you can also put it in your headgear, LED light, including with your LED light. It is depending on your the necessity of inside of your university, and also you can also put it in the dental chair light. So you can stabilize actually uh, the capability of zooming into your patients. And it's actually also, you can also use it with gooseneck, because we also have gooseneck, and you can put it actually on your tables. So basically it's multi-mounted, and it can, I mean, like it's much more on your preference on how you want to use it inside of your practices or your university.
Okay, that means the camera is not strictly for dentistry, or it could be used widely in other fields.
It's primarily used in dentistry because the optics, everything from the sensor board to the lenses were designed for dental conditions. If you picture, I mean, dental conditions are pretty unique when it comes to lighting and filming needs. You have a certain working distance between the doctor and the patient. You need a tremendous depth of field. We have, with our smaller lens, we get up to almost 12 inches of complete clarity. So everything in focus in the working distance. So always, everything from the back of the throat to the tip of the nose is going to be in focus while you're working. And also the lighting conditions in dentistry are unique between the combination of overhead lighting and LED lighting on the head, and it's dynamic, it's changing quite often. So everything about our camera was really designed for dentistry. That said, we have a lot of surgeons that use it as well in medical practice. So it can be used also to film in surgeries. I even have an auto body repair school that's using it to film very highly magnified views of work done on fine parts of car motors. So there are other applications for it, but our company is Futudent, and our kind of primary interest, it was founded by the University of Helsinki with dentists. So that's our primary interest.
Okay, now how do we start business with you? How can you come into university? What are the steps that you normally take to get that done? And now I'm sure that many of my colleagues will be interested, there's no doubt. Although they may have been familiar with other camera companies, what makes your company to be different? Can you tell us how you come in and what makes your company different that can really really get everyone interested in you more than others?
Sure. A couple of things. I shouldn't say this first, but I will. In terms of kind of quality versus price expectation, our camera is certainly on par with the highest quality dental type cameras available today at 1080p. The weight of the camera, the technical specifications, we are at the top of the heap in the world, but our price is actually the most affordable. So we have a very good price versus quality, best on the market by most measures, by any measure. But that's not the reason that you should work with us. The reason you should work with us is because we're the only ones that have this full kind of triangle of utility: the camera, the recording software that's designed to make it very easy to use in a clinical environment, and then the cloud sharing service that allows you to take that video and do interesting things with it. So academics, for example, build cases. They can make a video, they can share it to all of their students. Students can converse with the professor on that case in the cloud environment. Other things can be added there, x-rays, MRI files, anything else can be added. So these types of capabilities, we're the only ones today that have that. So our whole system, not just the hardware, you can find other cameras, but the hardware plus the software and the ability to share and do things with those videos, we're the only ones that can do it. We have dental professionals that make a video with an instruction for a patient, and within 2 seconds, email it, and the patient has it in their smartphone, you know, as they go home to where they need the advice in front of the mirror, taking care of their new crown or taking care of their new bridge, or if it's a pediatric patient, learning how to brush better. It can be something as simple as learning how to use interdental brush, but we're the only ones that allow you to use the video in a useful way. So that's what's unique about us. In terms of timing, your contacting us is quite good, because we made a decision during this summer. We just came off of the ADEE show, which is the big European academic show. All the universities in Europe attend this once a year. It was in Vilnius this year. And we made a decision there that we are going to look to partner with 5 to 10 universities in the world who would be interested to take on the camera and build a program with us, because there's so many different ways the camera can be used, like I've outlined a whole bunch just now, and I'm sure your school probably has some other unique applications that we haven't even thought of. So if you're interested to work with us and put together a briefing for how you and your colleagues might like to use the camera, then we could really look at a cooperation with you, where we're not just selling technology. We could, at least in the first case, be providing the technology to you, and we would want to be involved in the whole process of implementing it and learn from you as well, you know, how you and your students are using the technology.
Fantastic. I think we've been talking about relationship with institution, with companies and so on and so forth, but do you have packages or camera that individuals could just use for his research, that it doesn't have to involve a large-scale kind of thing? I think Anna could help us with that.
You mean for private dentists, something like that? Not
maybe a camera or something that individuals could just purchase and could manage remotely on its own and use without, because all this while we've been talking about institutional-based kind of devices.
Well, we actually we can also sell it, purchase it, and offer it to private dentists in Africa. I don't know. I think more special for Lagos or Nigeria, but I think your staff and your colleagues are all over. I think 58,000 all over Africa. If you, I think based on your email, we can offer actually a special price. It's depending actually with how many quantities that you would like to purchase. But we are selling it individually, and those benefits that you have heard before, private dentists can have it also in their practices.
Our primary business is to private dentistry. So, you know, I've got dealers, distributors in over 50 countries around the world who are selling to general practitioners who implement this in every operatory, use this with their hygiene team. So, I mean, that's actually our main business. So selling, you know, a single camera here or 2 or 3 there, we are a commercial entity. We were born out of the academic world, and we're still very involved in the development of video technology in dental education. But our main business is selling the camera. You know, our retail price, just for your audience, is $2,290 US inside Africa. We often do for academics a discount, usually about 30% for an academic institution, but that's not talking volumes. So, you know, we just installed in Saudi Arabia 60 cameras in one full school. We installed in Riga in Latvia 18 cameras. We installed in the UK recently a set of, I think it was 12 cameras. So, you know, institutions that there's volume discounts, we can get to that when we get to that. But I think the first step might be even just doing a case cooperation with you. You know, I don't necessarily think we need to sell you something to get the ball rolling. I would be happy to get some cameras in your hands, well, to first build a project with you, see how you would like to use the camera, and if that's something that we think that we could get in and involved in support, then we can maybe even get a few cameras to you to get the ball rolling. You know, of course, we're a company. We're interested to sell cameras. We've got schools in the United States now where they're looking at having every student buy a camera, because a lot of students, schools are having students already buy pretty expensive SLR cameras to film their work, especially graduate students. But our camera can do 90% of what you do with an intraoral camera or an SLR camera. Plus, you have all the video capability. And now students can actually film all their work while they're in school, store it on the cloud, and they actually have a literal digital CV of their work from their time in school. So there's a lot of stuff you can do with the camera you can't do with the traditional camera. So there are schools that are now taking this on board for their students as well. But I'm happy with baby steps first, and because I do work with academic institutions, I also know the speed. So I know that things take time, and there's committees, and there's lots of people who usually get involved in the decision, from everything from the finance office to the technical office to the professors themselves and the various faculties. So I'm very appreciative of that. So we are very patient. And I guess if you would be our kind of lead to cooperate with, we're very happy to continue and see what we can do together.
Fantastic. I think we are marching towards a good relationship, and it is because of my interest in your products that I got in touch with Anna, and fantastically, I believe this opportunity will go further. May I ask also too, if you do have some kind of training for your clients or some kind of conferences? I think you mentioned something like that before, where your clients gets to know more about your product. Can you expatiate a little bit about that, so that anyone listening to us later could understand some of your offerings in training for customer and in conferences?
Well, we are involved in conferences around the world. In fact, in a lot of cases, our camera is used to film the live dentistry in some of the bigger conferences, like in the Greater New York show and in the, particularly in the United States. So yes, if you're going to any of the big conferences, IDS, for example, here in Europe, or even just recently, there was a big show in Spain. And so yes, you go to a dental conference, you're likely to find our camera there. In terms of customer training, we tend to do that personally. So whenever somebody buys a camera, we always try to book a time, half an hour to do virtual training with them. So we help them get it out of the box. Every setup's a little different because doctors have different loops, different lights, different ways that it needs to be connected. So we like to be involved and help them out. So that's kind of, we do that quite personally. But in terms of resources for understanding our camera, we have a wealth of good information on our website. I hate to refer to, just go look at our website, but there is a lot more than you get on a traditional manufacturer's website. We have white papers, academic papers, tons of great video content. So there's a lot of things to learn about the camera already publicly available there. And also, if there's an interest, I have done a number of webinars on video dentistry. So this is kind of the development of video technology and its various applications in dentistry, and particularly in the academic space. And it's about an hour-long webinar presentation that I can deliver, and/or our co-founder, Dr. Peter Rusanen, who's a prosthodontist, very skilled fellow here in Finland. And in the end of that presentation, we do talk about our company. This presentation is often given as a CE credit, so a continuing education credit in all over the world. So if you had an interest to arrange that, that could be done remotely. We do it via teleconference, and people are welcome to join in and ask questions. But that's also available if you're interested.
Oh, that's exactly I would like take place with my colleagues. I think we can schedule that after this meeting, so that I would also like to get back to my colleagues to know what you have to offer. Fantastic. I think I got to know from this meeting that it isn't just camera. It's camera with software that enhances production, enhances experiences and result. Fantastic. I must tell you that I've not really taught widely, and I think many of my friends too, that this kind of facility is available. I really appreciate all that you have said, and I think you've said so much, and I believe that definitely a relationship has started, and it will be fostered more productively as time goes on. I don't know if you still have some other things to share with us, so that I don't want to take much of your time. You have really explained very elaborately, and I really enjoy your time. If there's anything you want to share, Anna or Brian, let us have your thought.
No, I just would like to thank you for organizing this. This is a great first start, and I'm very happy just to follow up and share with you all the additional information that I discussed, and plan our next step. But it sounds like we've got a lot in common. And personally, I can say I have been wanting to do, we as a company in general wanted to do more work in Africa. We really haven't touched the continent, and but we need a good partner. We know that because we're all the way up here in Finland, and this sounds like we have a lot in common. So I think it's a great starting point. So thank you for the call today.
Thank you.
Great. Great. Great.
Okay.
Yeah,
Nice,
we share this. Sorry, we share this in our social media. I believe you don't mind. If you do, let me know.
No, that's quite all right. By all means.
Okay, great. Thanks for your time, and look forward to more productive relationship in future.
Thank you yourself. Talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon.
Anna, thank you. I would like to link with you on WhatsApp. I saw your WhatsApp number. I would like to link with you on our WhatsApp and probably add you to our group chat. Maybe you have the opportunity to meet some of our friends also on the group chat. I don't think you mind that.
I don't mind.
Okay,
if
great.
You, if you need other information, I will be happy to provide it for you and your friends also, your colleagues.
Okay, great.
Okay.
So,
Thank you kindly.
yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.
Cheers. Bye.